Hello student, very good morning to all of you. How are you? I hope you all are happy, healthy and fine at home. Do you remember what were we discussing yesterday? Yesterday I think we had discussed about the application of Beckmann rearrangement reaction, and there are the different application of Beckmann rearrangement reaction we had discussed in our previous lectures. Today we are going to discuss the next named reaction, that is Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement, or it is also termed as Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. Baeyer-Villiger oxidation reaction. How that what do you mean by the Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement? What kind of the precursor used here, what type of the reagent used, what is the reaction condition, how the carbon skeleton change before the reaction and after the reaction, what is the migratory aptitude, what is the stereochemistry involved in Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement reaction, and what are the application of Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement reaction. That kind of the point usually we are going to discuss similar to the Beckmann rearrangement. The pattern we are going to keep same. Once you remember the Beckmann rearrangement reaction, on the basis of that or with the help of those points, we are going to discuss the rest of the named reactions. Today is a second one, Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement or Baeyer-Villiger oxidation reaction. So in 1899, two German chemists, A. Baeyer and V. Villiger, found that a ketone on treatment with peracid produces an ester is known as Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement or Baeyer-Villiger oxidation reaction. So remember here what he has taken as a starting material. He has taken as a starting material as an ketone, and that ketone is treated with peracid generally, performic acid, peracetic acid, perbenzoic acid, metachloroperbenzoic acid. It is a commonly used reagent in Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement reaction or Baeyer-Villiger oxidation reaction. And generally the general reaction, what you have to remember here, suppose we have a starting material is this one, RC double bond O R dash. This is nothing but as a ketone. The starting material required for Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement is a ketone, and this will be treated with peracid, and the resulting compound formed as an ester here, R C double bond O R dash is known as an ester. So this is the general formula for ketone, and the product obtained will be the ester. That is the basic that is the basic thing, basic requirement you must remember here. The starting material or the precursor for Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement reaction will be the ketone, and the end product or the final product obtained will be the an ester. So that is shown over here on the blackboard. You can look at the blackboard and see how we will get an ester, as well as the side product form will be RC double bond OH and acid over here. So that could be the product which we are getting here, acid. So don't think about the acid, but the main product which we are getting as an ester. Thus the reaction involves the oxidation of ketone to ester on treatment with peracids, and the net overall reaction is an insertion of oxygen atom between carbonyl carbon and the adjacent carbon in the ketone molecule to give an ester. Cyclic ketones are converted to lactones with ring expansion. Remember, this is a open ketones, open chain ketones, and ketones are generally also observed in a cyclic form, and that cyclic form, once again if you use this here peracid, what do you get? Peracid here maybe here are double bond COOH, that type of the peracid. Here generally CF3 COOH, it is a trifluoroperacetic acid, and the product formed will be this one C double bond O, and there is a ring expansion takes place like this. It may be as alpha, beta, gamma, delta and epsilon. Epsilon caprolactone we are getting here. There is a, if you observe the starting material, it is a 6-membered ring ketone. It is a cyclohexanone I have taken here as an example, and I got here is a caprolactam. When the ester present in a ring form, that particular compound is generally called as a lactone. So that you should remember here. So that is caprolactone we got over here, and depending upon the solubility of the reactant, inert organic solvents such as glacial acetic acid, chloroform can be used as a solvent for this reaction. And here acetophenone, suppose acetophenone is present over here, acetophenone, let me show that acetophenone is an aromatic ketone. Here we have, I am showing here C double bond O CS3. This is the structure of acetophenone, and that acetophenone further treated with pH COOH, 3 oxygen atoms are there, or sometime it is written as PCO3H, that is a perbenzoic acid. And now this is a symmetry, this is a symmetrical ketone, this one is a symmetrical ketone, and therefore insertion of that oxygen atom near the carbonyl group is insertion takes place. If symmetrical molecule is there, symmetrical ketone, it doesn't make any difference. But if you have a unsymmetrical ketone, then and then the other factor plays an important role here, where to insert that oxygen either toward the phenyl group or toward the, or on the side of methyl group or phenyl group. That if you know the mechanism and the migratory aptitude as well as the stereochemistry behind it. The Baer and Villiger, the two German scientists, they studied these reaction in a very well manner and they produced the data or the observation, and that still we are using, and that is the experimental evidence or the proof where the migratory aptitude of phenyl group is greater over the methyl group, and therefore you are going to get the product must be this one, C double bond O, C double bond O, CS3, and another one. Some of the student may think what they can do, they can show C double bond O and CS3 like this. Look at here, these are two products, they are isomeric form of each other. Isomeric form means this is a ester group, this is also as a ester group. But look at the methyl group. How will you distinguish these two compounds? By using, there are the various technique available nowadays, but as far as the TYBSc is concerned, the technique which we are going to learn, because those technique are very useful for structure elucidation or structure determination. The technique like UV, IR, NMR, in NMR, H1 NMR and the carbon 13 NMR, these are the two powerful technique, and by using those technique you can easily distinguish this compound. But right now you just remember this is this compound and this compound, they are totally different, means they are isomers of each other. Structural isomer we can call it as here. Structural isomer means the structure, the organic compound having same molecular formula, but the structural arrangement of atoms are different, they represent the different compound, and therefore these two compounds, it looks as a very similar, but their physical properties as well as chemical properties are very different, and therefore when they use as this perbenzoic acid, among these two only one stereopacific reaction, means only one and only one product is obtained. That kind of the stereochemistry is known as a stereopacific. So you are going to get as this compound, you won't get any traces amount of, only and one product is obtained over here, and this is the product. This will not be observed over here. Remember here, and why this one here, in short time we will discuss why we are getting as that kind of the products. When you know the mechanism, and as we know that mechanism is a language of organic chemistry, and if you know the language, you can express your feeling or whatever you want to say, whatever you want to give a message, so that the audience can understood what you are going to say here. So that, and similarly organic chemistry, if you know the mechanism, because mechanism, even though it is a logical mechanism, how the bond making or bond formation, how the atoms are rearranging, so that the possible or the probable or the proposed mechanisms in every cases are there, and then you can predict the product. If you know the mechanism behind it, then you can able to predict the mechanism very perfectly or very clearly. So here Baer and Villiger used peroxysulfuric acid, commonly called as Carrot's acid in their experiments, and but the other peracids like peracetic acid or trifluoro peracetic acid, perbenzoic acid, performic acid, metachloroperbenzoic acid can also be used. Metachloroperbenzoic acid is the most commonly available and commercially used reagents. So let us look at the list of reagent which is normally or generally used in this beer vinegar. Number 1, HC double bond OH, it is known as a performic acid. Performic acid. Suppose you have instead of hydrogen atom, if there is a methyl group, you will get CS3 C double bond O and H. It is known as a peracetic acid. Peracetic acid. And if you have instead of that methyl group, if there is a phenyl groups are present, then we can call it this one O and H. This is known as the perbenzoic acid. Benzoic acid. And if these 3 hydrogen atom, if you replace by fluorine, then you will get CF3OOH. This is known as trifluoroperacetic acid. Trifluoroperacetic acid. Or if there is a this kind of the structure C double bond OOH, at meta position there is a chlorine atom, then we can call it as a metachloroperbenzoic acid. In short, it is known as metachloroperbenzoic acid. This is a short form generally used or commercially used in use, and that metachloroperbenzoic acid is the most commonly available and commercially used reagent. Now in the mechanism, how the mechanisms are shown here, that we are going to discuss. In the mechanism part, though mechanism is not clear, the reaction is believed to proceed as follows. In the very first step, carbonyl oxygen in ketone is protonated, and in the second point, nucleophilic attack of the peracid on the protonated ketone gives tetrahedral intermediate known as intermediate, that is the name is given to that intermediate. And elimination of carboxylate ion and migration of alkyl group to the electron deficient oxygen. Remember here, in this rearrangement reaction, there is a oxygen atom involved and which is a electron deficient in nature, and therefore the alkyl or aryl group is migrating from carbon atom to more electron deficient oxygen atom. That is a notable point you should remember here. Then migration of alkyl group to the electron deficient oxygen takes place simultaneously to give protonated ester molecules, And the fourth point they have shown here, this protonated ester molecule further loses a proton to give final ester molecule, and thus the rearrangement involves migration of an alkyl or aryl group from adjacent carbon to electron deficient electrophilic oxygen, and the carbonyl oxygen of the ketone becomes the carbonyl oxygen of the ester. So let us look at the mechanism, how the mechanism takes place in Baeyer vinegar, how rearrangement reaction takes place, that we are discussing here. So general reaction, remember here, suppose we have a R C double bond O, this is a R dash ketone, it will be treated with then R double dash CO3H, and we will be getting R C double bond O R dash, and remaining one will be the RCOOH acid. So that's the general things we are getting over here. Now remember the mechanism, now I am showing here. Mechanism, watch this mechanism carefully. Here RC double bond O R dash, first one acid gives proton, so this lone pair on oxygen atom can pick up that proton, and you will be getting here R C double bond O H and R dash. Now look at oxygen atom has a 3 bond, and therefore positive charge comes on it, and that is known as a protonated ketone. This species is known as a protonated ketone, first one. And now it will be, now that once acid goes, it remains O minus O, then or per acid generally HO C double bond O R double dash. Now the lone pair which is present on that oxygen, it can attack here and neutralizing that positive charge, so that we will be getting here R, then COH, then R dash, here I am writing O, then C double bond O, R double dash, here oxygen atom, hydrogen atom, and that oxygen get protonated. In the next step, very next step, that there is a loss of proton over here, H plus is lost, and you will be getting here R, C, O, then R dash H, now here O, and C double bond O, then R double dash. Now next one, what is going to happen here? Here the lone pair which is present on that oxygen atom forming as a double bond, simultaneously this R alkyl group is shifted from here to here, and there is a breaking the bond between this oxygen atom, which is a very labile bond, it cleave very easily, and we will be getting here R C double bond O, here once again plus, and then there will be O, then R dash over here, right? And now this is a protonated ester, this is second, this is a protonated ketone, and this will be the protonated ester, and then there will be a loss of proton over here like this proton get lost, so that you will be getting the final product which is RC double bond O, then O R dash. Now the insertion of that oxygen atom we are putting Let us see here R and R dash. If they are the same methyl groups are there, then they doesn't make any difference. But unsymmetrical ketones are there, then and then there will be a problem of insertion of oxygen atom. And I think this is a mechanism. Once you know the mechanism of that beer vinegar rearrangement reaction, you can able to predict the product. And in our so whatever a description in the mechanism, though the mechanism is not clear, the reaction is believed to proceed as follows. And this is in the very first step, carbonyl oxygen in the ketone is protonated. Look at here, first step is a protonation of ketone, and nucleophilic attack of the per acid. This is a nucleophilic attack of per acid on the protonated ketone gives a tetrahedral intermediate known as, this one is known as Grigg intermediate. Tetrahedral structure, these are known as Grigg intermediate, Craigie intermediate, this one Craigie intermediate. This is a tetrahedral structure of that carbon, because if you look at here, this carbonyl carbon has sp2 hybridization. When that get protonated, still it is a sp. When nucleophile is attacked and we are getting the intermediate, that intermediate is known as a Craigie intermediate, and which has a tetrahedral geometry. And elimination of carboxylate ion here, carboxylate ion, and migration of alkyl group to the carbon to the electron deficient oxygen takes place simultaneously, which is shown over here, to give a protonated ester molecule, this protonated ester molecule which is shown over here. And thus the rearrangement involve migration of an alkyl or aryl group from adjacent carbon to electron deficient electrophilic oxygen. The carbonyl oxygen of the ketone becomes the carbonyl oxygen of the ester. If you label that, then and then we will get that kind of the some more information about how this mechanism takes place. In a next lecture, we are going to discuss about the migratory aptitude of that, which group is migrate, alkyl or aryl group, why, what could be the reason behind it. That kind of the discussion we are going to discuss in our upcoming lectures. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.